Calling to order at 4:02 PM. Item number 2, consider a request from the Wisconsin Rapids Fire Department to approve the funding for Station 2 remodel. Todd?
So when we came in front of you last time and asked about the funding, it was suggested by Tim that we get some bids or work on some bids for that. So what we did was try to get some bids from local contractors to get an idea of it. And as we found out, we tried to offer that bidding to even some of the contractors that worked on Station 1, and a lot of them didn't want anything to do with it because it's such a smaller project. But we've gotten the bids that are sitting in front of you. The bids are in the second to last column, and the average is in the last column. So at the bottom of that page, we also added on $10,000 for contingency. That's about a 10% like we did on Station 1. Construction fee, and again, this is all on percentage depending on the cost of the project, was the $21.97, the builder's risk, and the payment bond and insurance. So that whole thing comes to $115,000. We had $106,344 left over from Station 1. We got pretty much all our contingency back, and $6,000 that Myron didn't use. So that leaves us with a difference of $8,656. After speaking with Tim and the mayor, we met last week, I believe it was, because we knew that there was a chance this project would go through, we never did some work that was in outlay from last year because it would have affected what was below where they'd be working, which means if we would have done it, we'd be tearing it back out this year. So that money that's left over more than covers that 8656. So we actually, what I'm getting at is we actually have the money without having to take money from any place else to do the project. But being that it was money that was allocated and then taken out of the original project, we need the okay from finance to be able to go ahead and use that and get this project in motion. Going forward, if we would get that permission, we would have to still put it out on a bid project, which means we'd probably talk to Joe Egstead and get a bid package together and put that out for bids. We wouldn't have a general manager. Mike Lisitza, who really was our owner's representative, and myself would act as general manager. I think after the Station 1 project, I think we've proven we can be that position and save us some money. The reason this is a little cheaper than what the original project was as we looked at it, there was a lot of tile work in shower stalls for that bathroom remodel, which in my own personal opinion is a waste of money considering that we don't know how long that station's going to be there yet. It could be 10 years and that could be gone, so we switched to like a modular type of fiberglass shower unit, saving some money. So that was one of the reasons why it's cheaper. I think also you're going to see that because we're not paying a project manager, that also saves us some money. We've already paid for the blueprints, the speccing that these contractors bid off of, and the speccing that whoever does bid for the final is already done. We've paid for that through our original project. So I think all those things lead to why this is actually coming in a little cheaper than what we expected. And I guess I would look for you guys to give us the okay to go ahead with this project. And I'd answer any questions if you have any.
Questions, comments? Jay?
So first of all, if I understand correctly, the money that's left over has to be spent on these projects, correct?
Sure, since the funding that's left over is leftover unspent bond proceeds that was used to finance the renovation at Station Number 1. And since they're bond proceeds, you have to use them for the purpose stated for what the bonds were initially issued for, which was renovations to the fire station, so renovating Fire Station 2 would fit into that. If you don't use it on the Fire Station Number 2 renovation, then we would have to transfer the unspent bond proceeds into the debt service to pay down the bonds or use towards payment of the bonds. So those are the two choices you have with the unspent proceeds.
Okay, and everything is done at Station 1 and the bills are all paid?
Tim could answer that better, but yes, as far as I know, everything is done. We've had that with nobody working there for the last 2 months with no waiting on parts or, backlogs or things like that. We had a couple maintenance things, but they've been rectified, so.
Thank you.
Dean, anything?
I'll make a motion to approve the fire department's request for remodeling at Station 2.
Second.
Got a first by Bemke, second by Veneman. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, I move to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it.
I thank you.
Before I go on to item number 3, let's take a moment and introduce ourselves, please. Dennis, if you want to start.
Do you want Dennis Pollock, 6th Ward Alderman? Okay, sorry about that.
Shane Blazer, Mayor.
Jay Bemke, District 8 Committee Member.
Tom Realm, District 4 Alderman.
Tim DeSorsi, Finance Director.
Nick Dooms, Assistant City Engineer.
Todd Eckes, Fire Chief.
Jennifer Gossick, City Clerk.
Dean Veneman, committee member.
Matt Zacher, Committee Member, Committee Chair, District 3. Thank you, everybody. Item number 3, thank you, Todd, Chief. Review and consider a highway safety improvement program grant request for pedestrian crossing enhancement at 8th Street and Wood Avenue.
So just a quick background, not sure how familiar everybody is with this, but the DOT contacted us regarding the intersection of 8th Street and Wood Avenue. In particular, they were concerned about, they had some safety concerns with pedestrian and bike crossings there, and wanted to enhance motorist awareness. So what the DOT was proposing was a pedestrian crossing that would be similar to 8th Street and Grove, where it'd have push-button operation and kind of an overhead trombone arm with flashing beacons and pedestrian refuge island. So with that, the total cost that they were estimating was approximately $100,000. And because it's a highway safety improvement program, grant program, it'd be a 90-10 split, so only 10% of the cost would be city cost. So in December, we ran this through Public Works and got approval at Public Works as well as Council. But we're asking Finance and Property for approval for the grant application process because the grant amount is greater than $25,000, as is required in our grant management policy. So the project is nothing that would be binding. If we decide to go ahead and do the project, we have 90% of the cost covered. If we don't, we're not financially obligated to anything to complete the project. So it's kind of a win-win scenario. And because of that, we're recommending proceeding with the grant application process, and we're asking for Finance and Property approval.
Questions? Comments? So just long and short of it, if you're asking us just to approve to move forward with the grant, we are talking about a $10,000 cost to us if we get the grant and everything goes forward. And
Correct.
we'd come back to the table at that point, or are we approving both at this point?
I think it's just a formality that it's more than $25,000 in grant money. So because of that, we're required to get finance and property approval. So this would be the only time that you're approving it.
Well, would this occur in 2024?
I'm not sure exactly when, it's the next couple of years, so whether it's
All right.
24 or 25.
So if the grant was approved, we would still, the $10,000 match would still have to be approved in either the 2024 or 2025 budget.
Okay.
So.
That being said, I would make a motion to move forward with the grant process.
Second.
Got a first by Zacher, seconded by Veneman. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Item 4, review and consider for approval the 2023 Humane Society contract. Tim?
Sure, this is an annual contract that we have the Humane Society to provide services for surrendered animals, seized animals, and strays within the city limits. As you can see in the blue there, from what was in the packet, we got some language to include in there, and the main part of it is that Southwood County Humane Society shall not be required to assist with feral, non-domesticated felines, working cats. So any feral cats, they do not take those into their thing just because, one, it's nearly impossible, or they will not adopt those out because, you know, they're feral cats, the rehabilitation, there's just no way that they can, you know, safely, you know, adopt those out. So they will not take in or go and pick up feral cats. They do that with all their municipalities. We also put in there just to make it sure that they'll assist the city with pet exemption permitting process, including residential visits and signing off on permits. They're already providing that service. We're just making it very more clear and concise in the contract that, you know, that they provide those services. So what they'll do is when someone applies for a pet exemption, they go on site and do an inspection, you know, to make sure that it's a healthy environment for the pets. And basically, those are the changes to the contract. The other change is that the Southwood County Humane Society is requesting an increase in the contract from prior years of $86,500. It's been $76,500 since, I think this is the first increase since 2017. And basically, they're citing, you know, when we kind of talked about is that, like with every business, is just the cost of inflation, that, you know, the amount that the cost for, you know, for vet services, food, and things like that. So, you know, they kind of cited that a large female dog used to cost about $183, you know, and now that's right around $290 when you consider vet fees and obviously medications if needed, or spay neuters, or, you know, and things like that, and food. So they're citing more. And we asked them that all the municipalities that they service, they have increased those contracts also, just because the cost of doing business has gone up. So that's basically the gist of the agreement. And also, one of the things that we're going to change for the Humane Society contract for next year is that we'll be bringing the 2024 contract in October as part of the budget process, so that we can discuss the 2024 contract in concert with, you know, the budget process, so that we'll have it going into the year, a contract already approved. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Jay?
So if you go through the packet that you just passed out, D, under accountability, it says that they provide an electronic report
Yep.
showing their month. Who gets that? And
They deliver it to City Hall, usually to the mayor's office, and it's like a stack of all their, they call them their pink slips that shows what happened. So instead of having all those paper copies, we just requested that they provide those electronically.
I don't have a problem with if it's paper or electronic, either way, probably electronic's more efficient, but $10,000 increase. Who else pays for this besides the city of Rapids? Anybody?
Town of Grand Rapids has a contract. I think a lot of the surrounding townships have contracts with them. Some pay per incident, some have just a general contract.
That's it. Thank you.
Dean, anything? So, so this is for the 2023 money that we're giving to them. And so we accounted for this in the budget.
Right.
In 2022. Did we didn't account for the increase?
Correct.
Because we didn't know about it. So where would that general fund?
we'll probably transfer that a contingency for that amount. And then next year, obviously, it's kind of more have it in line with the budget so that we get the, whatever the contract amount's gonna be. We've also had, asked them to start tracking some statistical data for us so we can kind of put together, year over year, kind of some data on, the amount of animals seized, but more importantly, and they have seized, they've tracked those, so like 326 animals were seized in 2022. Now, they also have city surrenders where people go surrender there. They have not been tracking those in the past, but we've asked them as the start of 2023 to start tracking those numbers so that we can start to put together some statistics and things like that. So we kind of have we can see kind of how the service level, fluctuates year over year. But, also, you can look at the number of animals seized, but there's also a cost to just having that service available, obviously. And it's not just that they seize it, but then how long the animal stays, at their facility before it's adopted out and things like that. So
Did I understand you to say that it stayed at the previous number for quite a few years?
2017 was the last increase, and that's when it went from 75,000 to 76,500, and it's been that since 2017 till through 2022, and now 2023 is the first increase over that time period.
Did they say anything about why no increases and then all of a sudden a relatively large increase? And
I think a lot of it has to do with just, obviously, the inflation of everything's going up, and vet services and food and feed and things like that, cleaning supplies, all that has increased in price, and that's what they're citing is the cost per animal has gone up.
Okay. Did they venture any guesses about future years? Are they
No,
didn't talk anything about that?
Yeah, that's what, when we bring it back in October,
Okay.
the 2024 contract, we'll be,
All right.
talking about that thing, so.
All right. Anything else? Anyone?
It just does seem, I understand the inflation, but it does seem kind of odd that they didn't touch it for, since 17. And then all of a sudden jacked it over 10%. Like 13%.
Jay?
Is this something we could look at again? I think I'd like to see some more information. I want to know what the $10,000 increase. I'll support the
Yeah.
76,000 that we've been providing in the past, but I think to give it an extra $10,000 that we have not budgeted, I think we need to see somebody from the Humane Society.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's where I'm at on it as well.
So that being said, do you need us to pass something for the 76 or hold off?
Yeah, I would think that, if you're comfortable with like approving the contract, and if it's at the 76, you can approve it at that, and then, we can contact the Humane Society, and if,
Mhm.
if we want to amend the contract this year for the additional 10,000, that we can have them come back to the Finance Committee and have a discussion about that, if that would be.
Okay. Jennifer, what would you need to make that motion comprehensible?
I would, well,
Go
I would
ahead.
just make a motion to approve the Humane Society contract at
Remaining at 76,000.
76.5, and then, like I said, we'll communicate that to the Humane Society, and if they feel that they want to come back, that can be a separate
Okay.
item at a future Finance Committee meeting.
Okay.
I move to approve the contract as written with the exception of continuing the 76,500 annual fee.
Second.
Any other questions or comments? Jennifer, you got that? Sorry.
$76,500.
The motion was by Veneman, the second was by Bemke. You're welcome. No questions, no comments, seeing none, I move to vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Item 5, out of the bills we have discussed and are going to table the bills until April. Item 6, set next meeting date. We have two things to discuss here. March 9th, which is this coming Thursday, looking at 4:30 to here at the council chambers for the dog park to review dog park bids at that point. 4:30 would be right before our meeting as the
Committee of the
council
whole.
of the whole, committee of the whole. Does that work?
Yep.
Yep.
Dean? Okay, and then the second one, so we're at March 9th, 4:30 here in the chamber council chambers, sorry. And then the second one is next month, April 4th at 4 o'clock. Does that work?
That doesn't work for me, actually. That's, next month I'm out of town that week.
All right, so Dean, since are you out the entire week?
Yeah, the following week would work, but yeah, I'm out the 9th until the, I don't have a calendar in front of me, whatever the 10th, whatever the following Monday is, I think I've returned.
So you're proposing the 11th of April at 4 o'clock?
Yeah, for now, I can say that would work.
Jay, how does that work for you? All right.
I'll check to make sure, but
Jennifer, any conflicts? Yes?
There's court that day,
Okay.
we could. do that.
11th and 12th.
Can you say that again?
The 11th and the 12th,
Okay.
both Tuesday and Wednesday.
What about Thursday?
Monday or Thursday? Thursday's open.
Thursday work?
Hold on, Tim.
Just because that's where, we have the reorganization meeting on the normally scheduled council meeting. So, and I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
last year, we had the
Yes.
last council meeting of the current council on that Thursday.
Yep,
Okay.
you're
And
right.
I think we're going to discuss it
We
at the
are.
next council meeting, but we might be having the actual.
That's right. Thank you.
Can't we do the meeting in the other room? Finance? No, on that Tuesday that you said it doesn't work, there's court. Can't we do that Tuesday
Tuesday, the 11th in the
in the other?
small meeting room?
Yeah, they're not using the first floor conference room. Thank you.
Okay. So it sounds like April the 11th at 4 o'clock in the small conference room. Does that work for everybody?
Yep.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Oh, we got it. All right. Item 7, adjournment. I'll second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.